cleansing fire that will destroy, purify, create you, Bruce. Because I will use it as a mighty forge, molding you into a dark knight of Gotham. If it doesn't kill you, that is.
Welcome back, guys. So for the past few weeks I haven't posted any reviews for Gotham. I've been posting these mini reviews on my community tab, written reviews that is. But nonetheless, I think it's about time to talk some Gotham because the show has been renewing itself. It has been renovating itself and changing heavily. So over the course of this video, I'm going to be discussing how that change is coming into effect over the course of the past 3 episodes and over the course of this week's episode, with major focus of course on this week's episode. But as per the usual, and in the spirit of not wasting any more time, let's go. So as of last week's episode, we got ourselves our new Joker, or our Joker. Pretty much the show has been hinting for a while, or the producers have been hinting for a while, that Jerome is not really the Joker. The question though over here is, does it really matter? It does seem that instead of Jerome we got Jeremiah. Jeremiah is Jerome's twin, and Jeremiah is portrayed by the very same actor. So pretty much I didn't see a big surprise there. I mean, there has been promotional photos for a while now showing this other version of Jerome, or other copy of Jerome. So pretty much the moment we discovered there's a twin in the equation, I didn't really feel surprised that he did end up becoming the new Joker. It wasn't really that much of an effective surprise. What I think really matters here though is they renewed Jerome, renovated Jerome, gave us a totally different storyline for Jerome, a totally different background, a totally different purpose. Jeremiah right now as well does look more Joker than Jerome ever did because of all the stitching and the stapling of his face and all of that stuff. So yeah, we've got ourselves a new Joker with a new background and a new story. Now all of this put together with characters like the Joker and others is gonna kind of change the narrative of the story, because pretty much we're getting the same story over and over again, or certain repeats at least over and over again. We were getting Penguin going to Arkham, coming out of Arkham, going back to Arkham, coming out of Arkham. It's a repeat. All those dying people as well. They die and they come back, they die and they come back, and it is pretty understandable because all of these are foes of Batman in the comics, so the series felt the need to keep them around over and over again. If they kill them, they bring them back because Batman or Bruce Wayne has to grow up and get to the point where he could fight these people. He has got to be the one to fight them and take them down. That's how it works, or otherwise, why would Gotham even need Batman? But this transformation of Jeremiah into the new Joker of Gotham came in the form of an Easter egg to the Killing Joke arc from the comics. The insanity, the laughter, the change in skin tone, the grabbing of his hair, all of those are pretty much resemblant of what happened on the Killing Joke. Over there, the man who would later on become the Joker jumped into this chemical waste in his attempt to avoid being caught by Batman. And at that point, the Joker was born, with the whole 9 yards of looks as well, including the bleached face and the green hair. But with the introduction of Jeremiah and our knowledge that he is the new Joker came the introduction of Echo. And Echo does seem like this show's Harley Quinn. So obviously Echo is very loyal to this man, obviously Echo believes in this man, and obviously Echo will go the extra mile for this man. And that means that we've got our prototype Harley Quinn. Yes, she's not really Harley Quinn from the comics, and yes, she does not have the same origin story of Harley Quinn from the comics, but nonetheless, she does work in a similar fashion. The loyalty and possible love for this man is the most important characteristic or trait of Harley Quinn in the comics. But moving on to number 4, we have got a renovation of the character of Barbara. A lot of people have been complaining about Barbara a lot over the course of the first couple of seasons. A lot of people continue to complain about Barbara over the course of season 3. Like she is this useless character, she is unneeded on the series, and all of that good stuff. Honestly, and on my end, I've always felt that Barbara was there on seasons 1 and 2 to kind of torment Jim Gordon. Started liking her a lot more on season 3, but right now, and after her revival at the hands of Ra's al Ghul, after she died at the end of last season, I'm seeing a totally different character, and I'm loving it. Now, I was wondering when they first introduced the whole concept of her being the new demon's head, what was going on? Why are they trying to create this all-female League of Shadows or League of Assassins? It was pretty obvious they were trying to give her this new purpose on the series, and they did seem to succeed at that. They did seem as well to be making this political feminist move, like a League of Assassins that's all female, and even though it did sound as well like it is kind of forced, they did succeed at that in the end with this week's episode. They used the blood of Bruce Wayne to bring back Ghul. They brought back Ghul. He came after his powers. He took them back from Barbara after threatening the life of Tabitha, which by the way did show a lot of character on Barbara's end, a lot of character growth as well. And at this point, we got two Leagues of Assassins, or Leagues of Shadows. We've got the one led by Ghul, an all-men version of the League of Assassins, and all those women that stayed behind with Barbara, Demon's Head or not, they are forming their own league. She's got her new army now. Number 5, the rebirth of Ghul. Now the story of Ghul early on this season did feel very, very broken. Ghul is very big in Batman comics. Ghul is very important to the advancement of the character of Bruce Wayne into becoming Batman. The whole idea of bringing in Ghul at the very end of last season and early on this season was supposed to be about that. Apparently though, bringing him back, bringing Ghul back is all about that. It's all about making Bruce Wayne into the man that he would become, turning Bruce Wayne over the course of the next few episodes and the next season as well into the Dark Knight of Gotham, into Batman. But based on a couple of words used on this episode, like cataclysmic event, Gotham burning, I'm starting to think what they're going for here is a No Man's Land storyline. Only instead of Batman already being Batman in No Man's Land, they are basically turning Bruce Wayne into Batman using that kind of arc. Now just like the case was with the Killing Joke versus Jeremiah on last week's episode, the gas versus the chemicals, there is the earthquake in No Man's Land versus the burning of Gotham, and probably close to the end of the season, probably on the finale as well, because that would open the door for Season 5 to do a full No Man's Land arc. Now in the adjacent comic book storyline, Gotham was announced a No Man's Land or declared a No Man's Land by the US government after it has been hit by a cataclysmic event, said event being a mighty earthquake. Now in accordance with declaring Gotham a No Man's Land in the storyline, the government decided to block all roads leading to Gotham and destroy all bridges leading to it as well. And of course, as a result of all of that, crime ran rampant in Gotham. It went all crazy, off the roof. The entire arc was really entertaining, so much fun to read in the comics, and I think it was like 72, 75 issues or something, so you've got to read it. That includes all the tie-ins as well with other titles. Number 7, the switch from Jim Gordon, the self-righteous Jim Gordon, the know-it-all, the one who thinks he can save everyone, he can do it all, to this new Jim Gordon who does realize his own limitations, who knows that he cannot do it all, he cannot save everyone. Now the way the series has been doing Jim Gordon over the past few weeks, portraying Jim Gordon over the past few weeks, it is pretty much paving the road for Bruce Wayne to become Batman. It is changing everything. It is changing the dynamic with which Jim Gordon works, and over time this is going to take more effect, and he will become that man who lights the bat signal in the skies of Gotham in order to get the attention of Batman. Number 8, the Lee-Riddler dynamic. That's becoming one of my favorites on the series. I think the Riddler is my favorite character on the series at the moment. Lee as well, she's very close to the top of my favorites list. But nonetheless, the dynamic is amazing. For one thing, and before I get started with these two, I love that Lee changed her hairstyle. The bangs did not suit her, they were extremely annoying as well. I did mention though on my latest video that I do see a lot of Crime Doctor in Lee. I'm not sure that is going to happen, I'm not sure they're going to take her down that road, but I do think they're going to take her down that road on Season 5 possibly. But nonetheless, there was the showdown between Lee and the Riddler with all the riddles. There was this week's episode, Oswald trying to get to the Riddler's head, and apparently as well, Ed is still in there. Ed is still dictating some of the rules that the Riddler is gonna go by, and the main rule over here is he's in love with Lee. But there is this one other thing about the Riddler, the fact that you do not expect what he is gonna do. The writing for him is very crazy, it's really good. Now don't get me wrong here, I'm liking the writing for most of the characters, if not all of them, but the writing for the Riddler just feels completely different. The writing for the Riddler and Lee actually is kind of completely different. It gets to feel at times that whoever is writing for these two is not writing for the rest of the characters, and whoever is writing for the rest of the characters is not writing for these two. They are just written at a whole new level on the series. They're written way better than anyone else. On this week's episode though, I did love the entire dynamic between them more than ever. I did love that you did think for a moment that the Riddler is gonna go against Lee, but then he ended up going against Butch and Penguin. I did like how he's still having that struggle, only instead of him being the one in the mirror, the Riddler that is, Ed is the one in the mirror, and he's still there, he's still making this guy's life miserable, and we might actually see him at some point again. I was very excited as well about the highlighting of the changes to Lee, the changes that happened after she was infected with the Tetch virus, the changes that happened and were apparent in her killing of Sophia. Lee is completely different. Lee is not the same person we did see over the course of seasons 1, 2, and 3. It's obviously part of that renovation and reboot that the series is getting, going out of season 4 and going into season 5. So I'm thinking these writers, these producers, they were all hell-bented from the get-go of the season to get a renewal for season 5. And I think they're gonna get it. They haven't already. Haven't been following the news on that part recently. But that being said though, really loving Gotham so far, really loving the last few episodes, the ones I haven't reviewed, and this week's episode, the one I'm reviewing right now along with the other 3. So let me know what you thought of the episode, let me know how you think they're gonna do the No Man's Land arc from the comics on the series. Do you think they're gonna do it in the same manner as in the comics, like cut all connections from all other cities and all other towns and the rest of the country over the course of season 5? Do you think we're gonna see a Gotham more crime infested than we've ever seen it before? Let me know as well if you did like this video by dropping it a much appreciated like. And if that were to be the case, it is always much appreciated as well if you subscribe and enable notifications for my future videos, community posts, and live streams. But until I see you next time, thank you all for tuning in, and have a great day.